So many years ago, I was reading some research that was done within the Caribbean and Latin America, and they were talking about poverty in the Caribbean and Latin America. And they were saying one of the things that the research pointed out was that most people in Latin America and them places, the Caribbean, especially Latin America, one of the things that we see is that the poor people, they spend sometimes around half of their earnings, their salary, in food. And that is one of the things that keep people poor. The poor people are in a category where around half of their salary goes into the purchase of food. So how can you reverse that? How can a poor person become more financially stable with the reality that in the countries that you're from, if you're a poor person, around half of your salary will be spent on food? One of the ways to stop that is by growing your own food. So we can see clearly that one of the ways in which poverty can be addressed in Latin America and the Caribbean is by producing your own food. And this thing, it is a very simple, simple solution. So if your family, regardless of who you are, if you consider yourself to be poor, this study is saying, based on the study, one of the ways you can get out of poverty is by finding a way to cut down on your food cost. And one of the easiest places I see where you can get that done is in rural St. Lucia. So like right now we have a situation where in so many places in rural St. Lucia, you have abandoned farmlands. Lands that were being used for production of crops is now being abandoned. So if you are poor, if you want to get out of poverty, based on that study, one of the things that you can do is to have your farm. You can have a job, but also have a farm on the side and use the farm to produce your food or to subsidize your food in a big way. And so that's one of the ways that you can cut down on poverty, is by subsidizing your food costs or by producing 90% of your food. Because based on the study, the people in the poverty class in Latin America and in the Caribbean, they spend around half of their salaries on food. And if you can produce your own food, you can cut yourself out of that poverty class. Keep the fire burning.